what to do when you're stuck. Well, I mean, in business, this is the most common problem to solve this. You will be always stuck on something. There will be always a situation where seemingly no one can give you any information and there is no way to proceed. But I managed to find out. I basically looked through whole YouTube on anything that has to do with this printer, which wasn't a lot, like I've said, like 3 videos or whatever. But I've looked at the other models and white printers as a whole, and I noticed that someone, well, mainly guys in Russia, are installing like not a third-party cartridges, but are modifying these with aftermarket chips from China, and installing a non-interruptive ink flow system, something like that it's called, where you just attach the bottles to the side and well, physically screw them to the side of the printer, and it basically has the leads that go into the caps of the ink cartridges. And I started thinking, which then led me into China's market, and I've found ink cartridges that can be refilled for this specific machine with a chip that resets automatically when you pull it out. So, I mean, as long as I can get the inks, I can save a quid or two. But obviously, this machine is out of warranty, and I've looked at the prices of print heads. As I've said, there's 3 of them, and each of them would set me back at least 60 quid brand new from HP, which is not that big of a deal. But that is if I can save. If I can not pay 300 quid for the inks. Phrasing. Now, I've ordered the ink tanks for the machine, and I've still having an issue of the missing inks. First of all, I do not want to encourage anyone to use aftermarket inks, and do follow your warranty instructions or whatever, because there is a potential that your machine can be damaged, your pipes will get clogged, your print heads will go bust and whatnot. This is what I'm doing, and I do not encourage anyone to follow whatever I'm doing. That being said, I'm not using genuine inks, but I do use high quality third-party inks. Some of them, some manufacturers of the ink will actually offer you the warranty for their inks in your machine, meaning that if you use their inks and you follow the steps that are necessary for the warranty to take place, meaning you'll have to print the print head checks, the nozzle checks and everything. Every warranty is different, but they will cover your machine if it's getting damaged by the third-party inks. But regardless of that, I do have an ink supplier here in the UK, and I've spoken to my ink supplier, and he says that he's able to provide me 4 of the 6 colours, so we're getting somewhere. Now, them cartridges I wasn't able to buy one by one though. But that aside, I found a single supplier in Germany that sells a 6 1-litre bottles for this specific printer, but it would cost me 180 quid, which, looking at having 6 litres of ink, sounds actually like a not too bad of a deal. I decided to see if there's something else on the market. So what I did is, I know that on eBay, if you are a business seller, there will be you will have your business information listed on your account. So I searched for ink refills on eBay, and I found 10 sellers who supply the bottled ink refills for different kind of printers and so on. And I found their mobile numbers or the station, whatever. I found them contact numbers on eBay, and I started calling them all. Now, 3 of them went into just not reachable straight away, like the messaging voicemail service and stuff. Another 6 of them just didn't pick up. Like, hello, you're running a business. And one of the guys picked up the phone and immediately informed me that he's busy on another line and to call him 10 minutes later. He asked what machine I have, and he was like, yeah, I can get the inks. And he said to call me back a minute later. So while he did pick up, I wasn't able to speak to him straight away. And in my eyes, it's better to pick up the phone to your customer, even if you're speaking to a customer, like in my case. See what I did there? As I'm saying, you better pick up that phone or you will have no business whatsoever. Well, I mean, sooner or later you will have somebody. So, I'm calling this guy 10 minutes later and I'm like, yo, you said you can get me some inks. And he's like, what was the model again? And I'm like, that. And he's like, oh no, sorry, I can't. Well, he says, usually the wide load printers come with the servicing contract, like a maintenance contract from whomever sells them to supply the inks, the maintenance and the whole 9 yards. So I'm like, well, I don't have one, so I need inks, can you get them? And he's like, well, we also stopped doing the inks because while we did warn the guys that there could be some issues if you use the wrong ink, if you don't use the machine right, if it doesn't run the cycles and stuff, then there could be issues. And the guys who purchased the ink from this specific supplier were coming back and trying almost to sue him, or maybe they even did, for the damages and repair costs that occurred when they used the inks. Well, I mean, and I'm like, dude, I don't care. If you're able to supply me the inks I need, all 6 of them, and they are good enough quality that the printing result is that I like, that is up of the high quality, they don't just spill all over the place, then and they are at a good enough price where I'm saving, well, I mean, even if it's 100 quid versus the 300 quid, I will buy a new printhead if I need every time I'm buying an inks from you. I don't care. Well, I mean, obviously it wouldn't be that bad, but still. And besides, I do know how to clean the printheads, so it's not even that much of a problem anyway. It's like, oh, okay, I'll contact the manufacturer in Germany, all of the other things, and see whether we can get you some inks. Speaking of which, my current supplier for that printer that is able to get me 4 colors for this one is having issues and haven't had, let's say, color yellow, for example, for over 4 months now. And I called him and he's like, while I'm able to get 4 of them, I only have 2 in stock. I can't remember which ones they are, but I only have 4 in stock and it's unknown when we are getting the next batch. And I'm like, you said you will have yellow in Feb. And it's like, yeah, but there is some problems in the factory, so 1 + 1 makes it China, and therefore, you know what the China situation is currently like. But regardless, this guy is supposedly a representative, I guess, as I got to know, of a German manufacturer of the inks, and a couple of days later he actually comes back to me and says they can manufacture them. So the ink tanks, I found the refillable ones that have the auto reset chip, so I don't have to buy a new chip every time I replace the inks. And now I can get the inks as well. The only question being, where do I get the vinyl to print the whatever I'm printing on it, I found a couple of options, but I've contacted my current paper adhesive paper supplier and requested them if they can make rolls, because this machine can print up to almost 1.20 m. Do your calculations for feet and inches and stuff. I'm not good with that, but obviously this machine has a lot of potential. It's just that it comes with quite a bit of struggle and a headache or two to get everything where I want it to be, but nothing is unsolvable, and this is just to show you how simple things can turn into not simple things, and how little information there is actually out there as soon as you go and find slightly more niched items. Well, I mean, even this 300 quid Epson that I have, I probably am gonna say that there is not a lot of information out there about its usage and everything, because most probably what you're gonna find is a review, some random ad describing what it is, and that's pretty much it that you will find. No maintenance guides, no nothing. And this is speaking of which, this is not a new machine. This specific one is a 2007 model, but it was released from 2004, I do believe, so that makes 16 years. In 16 years, there's little to next to nothing information about this machine. And whatever I will have to do with this machine, besides actually operating it, which is a task on its own, I'll have to either learn myself or just leave it be, which is not something, well, I mean, if you're into business, this is not something you do. If you encounter a problem like I have, this is a prime example where it will actually show whether you're capable of dealing with business. Speaking of which, the money I've spent on this and the money I've spent on useless, now as I know, vinyl, which I cannot return because I've used it, it all comes also with the price tag, obviously, and this being a startup, a fairly young startup, I don't have infinite funds, and neither I'm currently employed somewhere else. So it all comes with a very big price tag comparing to business size and its turnover, and it also puts a lot of risk. It puts myself into a risk and the missus into a risk where it might be the case where there is not enough funds to actually pay the bills, not the company bills. I'm making sure the company bills are paid, but my own bills, the rent and the electricity and the gas and whatever. So this is the way, at least I've solved this. Which, speaking of which, it's been a week or so since it's here, and it haven't made a penny. And the single reason being, I need something to print on, and I don't have anything. And well, I've got the paper that came with it. Like I can't make money printing the. Well, I probably could, but it still needs to figuring out how to do it and stuff. But this is just to show you that it's not just you have the money, you buy something and it makes you money. No, you struggle to get the money, you squeeze everything you can and face a risk of not paying your bills and having issues with your other things, to have the option, merely a possibility to make some extra money, and it's not guaranteed when or even if you are able to monetize this thing, let's say, because someone is making money on small printers, someone's making money on the phone doing, I don't know, TikTok or whatever, like at Instagram pictures, Well, obviously it's not for everybody, so is the business, and any business is risk taking and problem solving. That's what the business is. It's not about driving fancy cars or living in Dubai or whatever. It's about making potentially life-changing decisions, high risk but potentially high reward decisions that can either make you or it can break you, as in to the very bottom. That's it for this episode, because I mean it's getting fairly dark because it's raining, and this has been slightly longer episode already, so I'll finish this here. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will be releasing some more technical reviews on the machinery I'm using. And now it's hailing, that's nice. But yeah, hope to see you soon guys, and thanks for watching.